We now know the name of the police officer who shot and killed a man this morning in downtown Minneapolis.
Well, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court.
Don't you get tired of being all that you could be?
No, I'm still all I can be.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Wednesday, Feb. 2, 2022. Shooting leaves one dead in St. Paul's West Side neighborhood. Reports of multiple shots being fired in a residential area of a West Side neighborhood drew St. Paul police officers to the 700 block of Winslow Avenue late Tuesday night. That's where they found an adult male who'd been shot. The 911 calls came into the Ramsey County Emergency Communications Center at about 10:15 p.m. When officers arrived, they found a man in his 20s inside a residence and suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. Officers began rendering aid and St. Paul fire medics arrived a short time later and pronounced the victim dead without transporting him to the hospital. Patrol officers secured the scene and began looking for possible witnesses. Investigators with the department's homicide and forensic services units responded, and they are currently processing the scene for evidence and working to determine what led to the shooting and who is responsible for the man's death. As of Wednesday morning, no arrests have been made. Anyone with information is asked to call 651-266-5650. Investigators do not believe the shooting was random. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner will conduct an autopsy to positively identify the victim and determine his exact cause of death. This information, along with any updates on the case, will be released on the St. Paul Police Department Twitter account, at SPPDMN. This is the 6th homicide of the year for St. Paul.
We now know the name of the police officer who shot and killed a man this morning in downtown Minneapolis. The city says Officer Mark Hanneman fired his gun while executing a search warrant at an apartment near Orchestra Hall. WCCO's Jeff Wagner is live outside the Bolero Flats building to walk us through what we know tonight. Jeff?
Yeah, Frank, earlier this evening, a group of activists were outside Bolero demanding transparency in the case. One of them was Nikema Levy-Armstrong. She says she talked with the family of the man who was shot, and she says they told her that he has a permit to carry a firearm and that he doesn't even live in the apartment.
Continue to draw us closer together like never before.
Words of prayer filled the frigid air Wednesday night, not long after words of anguish did the same.
They decided if a black man got to live or die in 9 seconds.
That 9-second span happened hours earlier when Minneapolis police were executing a search warrant at Bolero Flats downtown related to a murder investigation in St. Paul.
Our thoughts are with the family and friends who loved the man who lost his life today.
Interim Chief Amelia Huffman says SWAT officers used a key fob to open the apartment door and loudly and repeatedly announced themselves before entering and after. 9 seconds later, they encountered a man inside.
He was holding that gun in his hand at the time that shots were fired.
Hours after the news conference, a press release from MPD stated the man pointed the gun at officers before they shot him. Many are calling for investigators to release the body camera footage so they can see what happened for themselves. Neighbors who live on the same floor were shocked to learn about the shooting.
I didn't hear anything. I heard nothing. No gunshots, no police announcing themselves.
Why did they have to endanger every single person in this apartment building? Somebody could have been out in the hallway. Somebody could have got shot above.
Now, we're working to find out more about the murder investigation that led to this search warrant, as well as who or what police were trying to find in that apartment. The BCA is now handling the investigation, and there's no indication if and when that body camera footage would be released.
Right. When that happens, we'll make sure we share it with folks as well. Jeff, thank you.
Well, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court.
Don't you get tired of being all that you could be?
No, I'm still all I can be.